there have been entire books written, some of them very good, some of them less persuasive, about the reasons for anti-Semitism. I'm still very fond and persuaded by a book by two good friends of mine, Dennis Prager and Joseph Telushkin, called Why the Jews, which is still one of the best books, if not the best book, written on anti-Semitism, and I recommend it. But basically, the reasons for anti-Semitism is that Jews have, by our very nature, always affirmed and insisted upon being different. And this doesn't make us popular with people who believe they have the ultimate answer to all of the problems of civilization and all of the problems of human life. And if you look at Jewish history, this goes back way before Christianity. When I think it's a slander of Christianity when people say that, well, Christianity produced anti-Semitism. There was plenty of anti-Semitism in the world long before Christianity and even shortly before Christianity. Just 70 years after the birth of Jesus and in no connection with Christianity, you had one of the greatest anti-Semitic episodes of history, which was the slaughter of 1 million Jews during the revolt by the Jewish people against the Romans. The Romans were not Christian at that time at all. They were pagans, and they were brutal. Babylonians, Assyrians, Egyptians have been very much partaken of basic anti-Semitic ideas. The problem is that if you are worshiping a pharaoh, if you are worshiping a king of Babylon, if you are worshiping a Caesar, then that kind of worship, and the same is true for worshiping a Führer, or for worshiping a Tsar, or for worshiping a Stalin, a dictator, you cannot allow, with that cult of worship, the worship of one God who is infinitely more powerful than any human ruler. It makes it very, very uncomfortable for people who are monomaniacal and who basically believe in ceding ultimate power to one system or to one political entity, that there will be a people who are different and dissent and don't necessarily go along with you. Take a look at what Haman says, Haman says in the Megillat Esther, in the book of Esther, when Haman is basically talking about the Jewish people and why they should be wiped out. There's a certain people out there, and they don't hold by our laws, and they're different from us, and we have to go after them. The very core of this is that if you are, say, a Hellenist, you believe in the wonders of Greek civilization and that we have the best art and we have the finest architecture and the greatest philosophers, and we have answered all the questions of existence for all time, and we are sure of it. And you have this group of people over here who don't want to go to the gymnasium and don't want to worship Zeus and don't want to worship our philosophy. They insist on being different. Doesn't make you popular. And the same has been true for virtually every other world-girdling system where people think they have the ultimate answer. By the way, very much including Islam. It is a fiction and a distortion to suggest, oh, there's no history of Islamic anti-Semitism. It's true that the history of Christian anti-Semitism has been more serious and more bloody, but there's been plenty of Islamic anti-Semitism for the same reasons. If you believe that, okay, we have the answers, we have them all, and you're invited to join us and invited to be part of the party, and you decline, it tends to produce a great deal of resentment. And I think that's the essence of anti-Semitism. The other part of the question is, how do you deal with it? And the best way to deal with anti-Semitism, it seems to me, is for Jews to tell the truth about Judaism and to be informed about it. One of the problems that I think occurs that allows anti-Semitism to fester is when there is no opportunity for Jewish people to be advocates, not just for our ancestry and not just for our history, though that too, but to be advocates for our values and our point of view and our vision of God and of the world. Because when people hear the truth about Judaism, and I think this has very much been the case in the United States, it's not the more that people know about Jews, the more they fear them. I think the more that people know about Jewish people, or the more they understand what we're really about, the less likely they are to embrace classical anti-Semitic ideas. It's one of the reasons that I believe that it is useful for synagogues and Jewish institutions generally to invite our Christian friends and to open up and to allow a little bit of fresh air. I think it's beneficial from our point of view, because one of the things that is very helpful is that I think that people are much more likely to affirm their own Judaism when they are tasked, at least occasionally, with defending and explaining that Judaism to the wider world.
Thanks for watching. Click subscribe and hit the notification bell below for daily pearls of Jewish wisdom.